Welcome to Just Cuz Podcast Special Edition. I'm Jay.
And this is Katina.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
What's going on, people?
I bet y'all didn't know. We got a guest today, y'all.
We changing it up. Oh, they ain't ready for it. Oh, but it's going to be a good one. Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Yep, it is. So, okay, Just Cuz family, y'all ready? We have the infamous, because look, we've been working y'all up to it, because you know we've been talking about it. All of the things. Yes. So Tanisha Michele Bagley is in the building. Woo! Hey, Tanisha.
Hey, y'all. How do I follow that?
She's so subtle.
Guys, this is the Tanisha Michele Bagley. You guys have heard about her. We've been talking about her.
I'm posting about her.
Look, it is an honor to say this is my client, okay?
Amen. I know
this is my client. Won't he do it? And you know, since me and Katina partners, so you know she in there too. So maybe she both the right clients, y'all. Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Well, you know, one thing that I know for sure is she my sister. Thank God for my new family.
Look at him. Look at him.
His big one
all the time.
Always doing it.
All right. So yes, Tanisha Michele Bagley is the author of The Price of Love. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the book, you need to go get it. Quickly. It is her story.
Quickly.
This is her story where she pours on these pages, and you are going to feel every bit, every inch of it. You have to read it. It is amazing. Mm-hmm. So look, you're not going to talk all day. I'm going to stop talking and let her share a little bit about who she is. She's going to share her story. And then she's also going to tell you guys about some amazing things too.
Well, thank you both for having me. Before I get started, you know, I always give an honor to God for allowing me to be here amongst you two amazing women. Thank you in advance before we get going. So, you know, whatever.
It is.
She's a blessing to us, and she we're like, thank you. Thank you for coming.
You're our first guest.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Our first guest. And we're gonna want to check in with you because you're doing some amazing things.
Yeah. Well, thanks to you.
Well, you know what? Hey, it is what it is.
Right.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go, because we're gonna talk about it.
And if y'all are not paying attention, understand what's going on here. There was just a campaign that just happened right before your eyes, and you got the pitch, and you also got the confirmation. Okay, so understand that Azalea E. Gray is doing some things, and you just got and it just got co-signed by Tanisha Michele. So understand, and you better pay attention to what you're seeing here and what you're hearing. Those posts that we drop, pay attention, because when I tell you that this lady is going all over the place, she's going all over the world, she is about to be before millions and millions of people. Pay attention to the dynamic that's here, people.
Period. This book, The Price of Love, is about your story, your personal life story. Can you give us just like a synopsis of it? We don't want to give it all away. But just give us like what led you to write it and how we got here.
So this story, like you said, is my true life story, surviving domestic violence, rape, sexual assault. And it started for me at the age of 14.
Wow.
Yes. High school sweethearts, me and my first husband. And all through high school, through our marriage, I had experienced every aspect of domestic violence.
Wow.
And so when you say that, I mean, I'm a walking, talking, breathing expert of physical, mental, emotional, financial, sexual, verbal, every aspect of domestic violence I have experienced with this one person.
Wow.
And so when I wrote the book, it was me taking you from the very beginning of our relationship, even back to my childhood, on through our marriage, and then how it ultimately ended with us. And I just wanted to write this book because when I was in my situation and I got ready to leave, there was no help for me. I was told that if me and my children at the time, which was 5, 3, and 9 months old, if we wanted to flee domestic violence, we would have to go sleep on church pews.
No
because
way.
the local facility was full. It was always full.
Wow.
And I said, hey, I love the Lord like the next person, but I am not taking my kids out of their beds to go sleep on church pews. So I opted to stay. But little did I know, the last month that I was with him, this man literally beat me every single day.
Oh my.
And I knew that if he hit me one more time, he was going to kill me. And so I said, listen, either I'm going to die here or I'm going to die leaving. But either way, I can't stay. Either way, I can't stay. And so I did that. But that was the whole purpose of writing the book. When I got out, he went off to prison for what he ultimately did to me. I knew I wanted to help so many other Tanisha Bagleys. And so my way of doing it was writing the book so I can generate the funds and start out my own foundation and help so many others get the help that they needed, because no one should ever feel like they are trapped in a situation that they can't get out of.
Right.
And, I live in one of the richest areas in the state. And for me to ride around and see there's more animal clinics or more animal hospitals, or that the laws protect animals more so than they do human life, just disgusts me. And so I said, we have got to do better. And so that was the reason for me not only writing the book, but sharing and even translating it into Spanish.
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
our Latinas, our Hispanics, our sisters and brothers that are experiencing domestic violence, rape and sexual assault, mental ill, all of the things.
Wow.
And so that was the reason for writing it.
Wow.
And you did mention the Spanish edition. So there's something special about the way it's written as well.
Yes.
So
well, the
tell
thing
us.
about it is in all 9 different dialects. There's 9 different dialects of Spanish. So it is translated into all forms. So
wow.
That's the beauty of this book. And it is in Spanish, El Precio del Amor, which is such a beautiful title, which is still the same, The Price of Love.
Oh, that is beautiful.
But I did that during COVID. I did that during watching babies being taken from their parents and placed in cages.
Wow.
And my way of giving back immediately was, I need to translate this into Spanish. And that was just one of my give backs.
That is a beautiful consent of your heart. That's beautiful. You mentioned something about a foundation.
Yes.
Can you talk about your foundation?
Yes, Intron. And it stands for Everyone Needs Support, Help, Respect, Inspiration, Nourishment, and Empowerment.
Oh, I love that.
Not just women. We hear all the time a lot of help for women, but my organization helps everyone, all walks of life, men, women, children, pets, I don't care, because, pets get killed also.
That's
It's
right.
part of the DV abuse, right? So I started that foundation because I wanted to be a resource. It's about all the resources that's given to someone, because everyone needs different things. There's no one cookie cutter form for domestic violence.
Right.
One person may need just housing. One person may need a job. One person may need a bus ticket to get away. So it's just giving them the resources that they need so they can get out and get out safely from their domestic violence situation.
That's amazing. So if people want to give to that foundation, how would they be able to give to that foundation?
So it's my nonprofit. Well, everything is through my website, and I'm also on all forms of social media. But if you want to get to me directly, it's TanishaMichele.com, and that's Tanisha Michele with 1 L.
Okay.
.com.
Awesome.
That is the way that you can contact me. So you can donate to the foundation, you can purchase the book, you can reach out to me, contact me, and of course you'll get Jay,
right.
Zelia E. Gray.
Right.
She'll get a hold of me, but there isn't a way that you cannot reach me.
Wow.
Just Google me, as they say, Google me. You'll find me.
That's cool.
You'll find me. Yeah.
So with the works that you've done, because I'm a little biased because I know everything about you. You're my client. But you have done a lot of phenomenal work through the years. You have been on the Michael Bazin show, the Russ Park Morning Show. You have appeared on Oprah. You've done all of these amazing things. You have trained over 700 police officers in Raleigh, North Carolina. You go into the prisons, talk to us about those things, those additional things that you do, because I mean, we have started, and if you've been paying attention on social media, you know she has started her 2026 tour for awareness, education, and prevention.
Yes.
And so this is where she gets to tell you more about what she does outside of.
Well, and real quick correction, because like with Oprah, I was actually an audience guest at the Montel Williams show on his couch. With Oprah, I was an invited audience guest through Captain White and his beautiful wife, Miss Betty, on their anniversary, and they brought me to Oprah.
That's awesome.
And actually it was a DV case.
Okay.
It was I'll never forget Susan Steele. She was out of New York, and that was one of the most heinous crimes that happened to her, where her husband actually had the children videotape while he was abusing her.
Oh my God.
And he got one of the longest sentences in New York's history for domestic violence.
Wow.
And it was more or less what helped put him away was the fact that she journaled, she took pictures, she kept notes of everything that was going on.
Right.
And that's what helped put him away for so long. But going back to that and all the different, settings and places, I'm just so thankful that I'm able to share and do what I do and do what I love to do. There is not an audience that I can't speak to. I tailor my experience, especially from young people, and they're my biggest heart. The prevention and the educational piece, which is helping young people make sure this doesn't happen to them.
That's right.
That's first and foremost.
That's right.
I also love going into the prisons because even though, and I go into males' prisons, I haven't gone into the women's yet, but the men's prison is what really I love the most because I'm in there with those men that are taking ownership of the things that they have done. Most of them are going back out into society. We want them to be well. They're getting the help. They're acknowledging. They're taking ownership. And they're saying, I want to be better. And what I tell them is that they too matter. They too matter, especially going back to their families. And even for those who are not getting out, they still speak to their family, their children. They have children, they have family, they have wives or girlfriends or mothers, sisters. They have family members that their impact matters. And so a lot of them are getting the help that they need also. So I love both of those groups, the prevention and then those who may have the reform piece, because they're both very much important. Women, all it doesn't matter. I'll go anywhere that I'm needed. Training police officers, that was a big one for me too, because we all know with law enforcement, that is the number one call that they hate to go to. People need to understand that. They don't know what they're walking into. How many police officers have lost their lives going into a DV situation? How many police officers have gone back and forth for the umpteenth time to the same house? They're getting upset. They're like, you're not leaving. What is the problem here? But being able to share with those officers from start to finish that every situation is not the same is very important for you to be very careful when it comes to their whys, the person's whys. What do we, let's get to the root. Let's get to how we can really get them to stay gone or get the help that they need if they're gonna stay. And so that we can stop with this back and forth. So that educational piece was very important when I trained those officers because it gave them a better insight. But then also the flip side is I love going out to the community, especially our women or men that's going through it, and say, don't call if you're not ready. Don't keep involving if you're not ready, because you're putting so many other people's lives at stake when you're doing this. But just know that when you do call, when it comes to the officers, if somebody is calling, they're ready to. So awesome. It's a twofold. I can see both sides, all sides to both situations.
How important is it that you speak with our youth of today, that you come into these schools, into these high schools, and as we know, it's happening as early as middle now. How important is it that you come and you speak with that
that age group. I
Population.
mean, very, because we have to get back to the basics with these kids. We are all living in a different time. Domestic violence is not going anywhere. This has been going on since the beginning of time, Cain and Abel. And it's never going to stop. But we do need to educate our kids. We are not teaching them how to have healthy relationships. We are teaching them everything else besides, and I hate to say the things that don't matter, but we need to start teaching them things that's going to help carry them for the rest of their lives, and how to deal with conflict, how to deal with bullying, how to deal with conflict resolution and different things is very much important, because this is everyday stuff.
That's right.
They don't know how to recognize the red flags. They don't know how to have a conversation without going from 0 to 100 within 5 seconds. I mean, it's the basic things that they need to know. And so when I go in there and I share my story and what I experienced back then, some 30-something plus years ago, that is still prevalent today, they're like, oh my goodness, wow, that happened to you? It can happen to me.
Right.
And I tell you, when I go in there, you can hear a mouse go to the bathroom on cotton.
Oh, wow.
They are quiet. It's 700, 800. I don't care how big or small the school, the audience. They are intrigued, they are listening, they are attentive. And I get their attention from the first time I open my mouth. You are going to listen. You might not agree. They're quick to say what they would and would not deal with. Well, you say that now until you're in it.
Right.
But I come to them, and that's any audience, from a place of love and a place of understanding and a place of it can happen to you because it happened to me.
Absolutely.
So don't be too quick. But I want you to sit and I want you to listen. And when you get their attention, the rest is history.
Have you ever had anyone to come up to you after doing a session and say, hey, listen, I'm going through this at that age?
Every time.
Oh my!
I did 6 schools in 2 days in Missouri.
Oh, wow.
Every school we had to call the police, the guidance counselors. I even had a school principal come up to me after I finished speaking and admitted that she was going through it.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's happening in the leadership.
In the leadership, the counselors, the teachers. Wow. So yes, every one of those schools I went to, there was a line of kids wanting to tell what was going on. And then I had to leave and go off to another school.
Right.
And I did middle and high school. And don't even talk about the colleges.
Oh my.
There is an audience when it comes to our young people. It doesn't matter the educational, whether it be kindergarten. I'll even tailor it to a kindergartner, because you're still teaching them good, bad touch.
That's right. That's right.
Don't hit. That's right.
That's where it begins.
Stranger danger.
That's right.
It's all of it. All of it ties in. And bullying. Oh, don't get me started on the bullying. Because the first thing I tell these young people, I don't care how cute or beautiful you think you are, but if you're ugly and you're treating people ugly, you are ugly on the inside.
That's
and
right.
I don't like it.
That's right.
And when those pretty little things look at me and they hear that come out of my mouth, they straighten up.
That's right.
Because it's not cute.
Right.
And so we're not doing anything. It goes back to that village. It goes back to, people are kind of afraid of being able to correct or straighten or, direct kids in a right way because they're afraid, well, they're not mine, or I don't want to deal with the parents or all those other things. There's a way to say and do everything.
Come on, sister.
And I had 3 children, and there was not an adult in my life or even that I did not know, if you were telling my kid the right thing, that I would ever go against that.
That's right.
Because we all need it, and they need it more now so than ever.
Yes.
More so now than ever.
Yes.
And these kids are crying for it. They're begging for it. Even when I went into the schools, for example, I had one young girl I'll never forget. She said, I sleep in class every single day. And the teacher's thinking, oh, well, she doesn't know what she's got going on outside of that home. But I found out what it was. She said, because every night I'm protecting my younger sister from my mother's boyfriend because he's touching us, or I want to prevent him from raping me.
Wow.
So she's at school sleeping because that's the only time she gets to sleep, because she's sitting watch for her younger sister at night.
Oh my goodness.
So had a teacher or a counselor or someone pulled her to the side, see what's going on, instead of thinking that they're bad or they're lashing out or this and the other. Why are they lashing out? I've had a young girl, she's pregnant by her father. We've had kids, guys, young boys, they're being touched. Young boys saying every month, me and my brother have to go to the landlord because that's how we're going to take care of rent for the month. Oh my gosh. I've heard stories that'll make your head spin. And that's just young people. And don't talk about the prisons. We've gone into the prisons where men can remember being raped and assaulted at 2 and 3 years old by their own siblings, their older siblings. Oh, wow. And I'm not making excuses. I'm never one to make excuse for anything anyone has done. You hear the slogan or the phrase all the time, hurt people, hurt people. I get that. My thing is, if you know you've been hurt, you know you've been violated, I want you to get the help that you need so you will not go and hurt and violate anyone else. One of the stories that I heard that has stuck with me is one of the inmates, he told me, one of the adult correctional people, is that at 8, he can remember his mother being raped and abused by her father, his grandfather, and his uncles. And that she actually jumped in front of a car. But they tried to say that it was an accident, but she actually committed suicide. And he was left with those very men that in turn start raping and abusing him at 8 years old. And then in turn, he started as an adult raping and abusing 8-year-olds. My thing is getting to the root. Right. And that's why children are so important to me. And that's why it is important that we believe them, we listen to them, we get them the help. Because I'm a firm believer that as adults, everything stems and begins at childhood. Something happened in your childhood along the way that has impacted you as an adult. And that's why we have a lot of unhealed, unhealthy adults running around. Because they have never tackled the traumas that they have dealt with as a child. And so I'm actually trying to turn the tables around and saying, listen, it's okay. It's okay to get help. It's okay to acknowledge. It's okay to speak. It's okay to share. It's okay to say, these things happen to me. I'm not saying that it's right, but I want to get the help that I need to be better. And that's what Tanisha Michele is all about.
I know that's right. Well, Tanisha Michele is packed full of knowledge. My gosh. I'll be honest with you, when the topic of domestic violence comes up, the first thing I think about is relationship, but I think more along the lines of marriages or adults. And I never have really taken into account everything you just said about where it starts, and that it starts out from childhood. Everything that you just mentioned, from the ones that were being abused and raped, as child by their siblings. Like, these are things that are, and you also mentioned about the child that is sleeping in class. These are things that we miss.
We do. We miss a lot of different signs. And that's one of the reasons that I think is so awesome of what Tanisha is doing, is because you're bringing awareness and you're helping people that may not have ever experienced it or gone through it to understand what those signs look like. So that brings me to human trafficking. You support helping victims with getting out of that situation as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about human trafficking?
Yeah, human trafficking is huge, especially in our state. We're here in North Carolina, the southern states, rural areas. People don't think about that. I know that Atlanta is somewhere around, it's like a hub, as they call it. Because it's like, southern states going up towards our state. You think of all those back roads, all those country roads, all those different things. I mean, now you're hearing more and more going up into the Virginias and the little northern areas. But if you think about it, it's everywhere. It really is. And it's very easy to get caught up in something as simple as you needing something. And I don't, certain cases that I try to shy away from for the simple fact of protecting the person, the victim. But I know I can say this. There was one in particular where it was something as simple as somebody may need baby items.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And so you run into a person and they say, hey, well, I know you need this, so send me a picture. Or do this or do that. Wow. And then how quickly you can get caught up in the trafficking. Just like that. Just like something as simple as I may need something to eat. I may need a place to stay. Just and you run it, any vulnerability. And there are so many different predators out here, and they know that, and they feed on that. Because there are a lot of kids that are running away from homes, going back to the domestic violence, going back to the piece of I'm not wanted at home, I'm being attacked at home, I'm being abused at home for whatever reason, I'm not safe here. I go out to the street, you run into an adult, and then next thing you know, they're prostituted or they're whatever to survive. You're doing all kinds of things just to survive.
I am happy that you spoke about that, because the misconception, and I'm talking about me, the misconception is that human trafficking is someone in a white van coming to grab you, put you, or if you're getting in your car and you're in the parking lot and someone put something on your knob, on your doorknob or something, and then like all these different things. But what you're talking about is just so like necessity and simple and easy and just easy, and it's so subtle.
Yeah, it is.
We don't think about that.
You don't. Think about these teachers, some of these teachers, even in our schools, that are taking advantage of young people. And they're in here with our babies, our kids every day. No one is immune. Nobody. No profession is immune. I'm just thinking about us as adults that are not, we're failing our kids. We are not protecting our children the way that we should be. And especially our young girls and boys. I mean, it's just, we're not. And I don't discriminate. That's what I wish, the one way that we would all be like domestic violence, in the sense that we do not discriminate. Because domestic violence doesn't care your age, your color, your creed, your financial background, your religion. It does not care. It does not discriminate.
Wow.
And can you imagine? I mean, we pour so much in all these other causes, and I'm not saying that they are not important, because everything is important. But think about the millions and billions of dollars that are being raised for breast cancer, to be exact, or cancer, period, right? Where it costs you nothing to keep your hands to yourself.
Oh my gosh.
But we don't want to talk about that. It costs you nothing to be good or kind, or to love someone, or to say, I'm not going to violate anyone. Especially a child, especially someone that is as vulnerable as a baby. And that's the thing. We talk about it, or you may read it, but to actually keep having these conversations, it makes you think. It really makes you think.
It does.
And what keeps me up, people ask me all the time, what keeps you up at night, is something happening to a child.
So Tanisha, this is Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Yes, it is.
April is. So I'm gonna ask you to do something, and you know, you can say no, but I want you to speak to the offender that may be abusing a child right now.
You have no idea what you are doing to someone, this innocent child. I'm going to say this, and I've never said this before, but I'm so glad you asked me this question. I am a grown woman. I'm grown. I have had, of course, intercourse, sexual relations, and it's a lot that we as women can take and endure, right? And I mean, follow me here. And I say this with the utmost respect, especially for myself, especially being a grown woman, right?
Talk to him.
But I have, and I'm been married, and you know, sometimes the intercourse itself has affected me as a grown woman. We're women.
Right. Talk to them.
Some may think, oh, this is they may like it rough, they may like it this way, that way, or whatever. Even the gentlest of the act can still be the most uncomfortable of the act itself. And there are after effects.
Yes.
Or sometimes you may have to say, hey, stop, or whatever, right? You imagine being two grown adults being involved in a intercourse relationship or an act. Now imagine a child.
My Lord.
I'm grown. And there's times I've had to say stop. And there's grown, and I may have been able to take it. But there's no way a child.
Come on.
No way a child.
Jesus.
So when you think about that, and you think about the hurt, you think about the unimaginable abuse and hurt and the effects of that for a young person, and especially if you've experienced it yourself.
My Lord.
I want you to stop and think. You did not like it happening to you, so do not do this to someone else. Do not torment and affect somebody's life, because you will affect their life for the rest of their life. I'm not saying that people do not get help. I'm not saying that people do not deal with their traumas, but I'm saying there are everlasting effects when it comes to our children. And that is why we have so many, I'll keep going back to it, so many adults that are out here that are doing some of the most heinous things you can ever imagine. Like, what happened to you?
Right.
Something had to happen to you. You did not just wake up and decide you're going to be a murderer today. I didn't wake up and decide I'm going to be a prostitute today.
That's right.
People don't just wake up and say I'm going to be an abuser today.
That's right. That's
People
right.
don't.
That's right.
Something happens somewhere. And then I know we're going to talk about mental illness, but there is a thing. There are some sick individuals out here that need help. And we have got to start talking about getting the help that you need to be better.
Yes.
It is not taboo. We got to stop sweeping things under the rug.
Yes.
We got to stop saying what stays here goes on here, doesn't go anywhere else. We got to cut that out.
Yes.
Everybody needs to cut that out, especially in our culture, but we got to cut that out. We have got to stop re-victimizing the victim.
Wow.
We have got to stop protecting these predators. And I'm not saying they can't get the help that they need, because they can, but they got to want it.
That's right. That's
but
right.
if you know your uncle or your grandfather or your niece or your uncle, and women abuse too. Women, we're not off the hook. We have got to stop allowing this to happen to anybody. It's not right. And even if you don't want to press charges or you don't want to whatever, get them the help that they need, but it has to stop. And we got to believe these kids. I believe you.
That's good.
Yeah.
I believe you. I'm here. I believe you. I believe you.
A lot of them talk and
them.
Nothing is done about it. So
No.
they get quiet. They get
do.
mute, and they pick up these other characteristics. And when I say they become mute, like they literally become mute.
They shut down. You know how many kids that don't speak? You know how many kids that this has happened? It goes back to the abuse too. How many children have not spoken in years?
Oh my God.
You could take their voice away. I've heard that.
My Lord.
They stop speaking. They shut down. They go into withdrawal. It's traumatizing. It is traumatizing. And that's even from a DV standpoint, domestic violence standpoint. Can you imagine someone being beaten to death? Just stop and think of somebody, you are alive right now, and someone just comes up and just starts beating you to death.
My Lord.
Just beating and hitting you until you are no longer. You just can't imagine. But those are the things that I think about all the time, and that's why I do and I speak as much as I do, because we have to start having these conversations. These conversations should have been had, but that's neither here nor there. They're being had now, and that's why I continue to do what I do.
You have spoken to the offender about how this affects the one in which the victim. But now I would like for you to also speak to the offender and what it is that they're going through and what it is that led them to where they are. Because I know that you spoke earlier about your compassion for those that are in prison, because they may be in prison because of this very thing.
Right.
But we understand that there's things that have happened and trauma in their life that may have brought them to this place. Can you speak to that side of the offender?
That's an excellent question. I love that, because I get it all the time. People say, how in the world can you go into this prison system with these men who did the very same thing that, to someone else that your ex or your offender did to you? And I say very simply, in these programs, one is voluntary. Now, whether or not they're doing this to shave some time off their sentence or, whatever.
Right.
I know they're listening, and it happens. It happens. But a lot of them are there because they really want to be there. They want the rehabilitation. They have taken ownership. A lot of us don't take ownership for nothing. We don't want to admit we have a problem. We've messed up. We got issues. We did this. We don't want to take ownership at all. Right. At least I know with these programs, they're taking ownership and they want to be better. And that's where the less than 2% recidivism rate comes into play, and that's huge. And what that means is that they're not returning back to prison when they leave. Yeah. Right. So they're getting the help that they need while they're there to be better. Right. But one of the things I say to them is, you're doing what my ex never did. You're taking accountability.
Wow.
Nobody is paying me to come in here to speak to you, to share my story, to have this conversation with you. I'm here because I know not only are you getting the help that you need, but you're getting the help that you're going back out into society. We need them to be better.
That's right.
We need them to be better, not only for themselves, but for their families, for their children, for their wives, their girlfriends, their future whomevers. We especially need them to be better for themselves. And that's what they're doing. And then also I say to them, what makes it so easy, because I start off, I don't know what they've done. I haven't read their jacket. I'm not here judge and jury, because somebody has already done that. That's why they're in prison. I'm not here to say, point my fingers and say, oh, you did X, Y, and Z, so you don't deserve or not deserving of rehabilitation. That's not what I'm here for either. And I also share with them, I said, you know what, guys? I've been pregnant 7 times in my lifetime. I have signed my name to abortions. Wow. Either you're pregnant or you're not. And I know for sure I've signed my name to abortion. So I'm a murderer. Who am I to judge you?
Wow.
I'm not in prison for it. The only difference between you and I is whatever you've done, you're serving time for.
Come on and speak.
I'm not serving time for it.
Come on and speak.
Am I right?
Come on, sister.
So when everybody else come up to me and say, oh, whatever, somebody's in there, and I say, well, what have you done? If we're going to be there, we're going to talk about it, because you're going to tell me you have not done anything in your lifetime.
On, sister.
I'm not going to do this with you.
Ye who is without sin cast
come on
the first
now.
stone.
So with that being said, that quiets a lot of people. So once again, it's not my place. They got to take that up with the man upstairs or whomever they decide to worship. It could be this water bottle for all I care. But my point being is, that's not my job. My job is to go in there and say, let's talk about this thing. Look for forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness. And forgive yourself. That's the main thing. Forgive yourself. And forgive whoever has done whatever. And I know that's hard for some. I mean, who are we to tell somebody that they must forgive? I would just hope and pray that you do get to that place. Because forgiveness, I know for me personally, is why I am as blessed beyond measure that I am right now. I am at a peace that surpasses no form of understanding.
I wish I could see her
at this point. I mean, I'm serious. I have a peace in me that I cannot explain. And I know it's because I have let this all go. I first forgave not only my offender, I forgave myself. I took ownership for my part in this, because we all play a part in our lives. We can go on for the rest of our days pointing finger or placing blame, but at the end of the day, we are in control of ourselves and where we are going in our own destinies. And until we do that, we're going to always be stuck in a place of pity, wallow, whatever have you. And that's just not where I want to be.
Come on.
So when I go in there with these guys, I'm like, listen, you have a choice. You can either sit in this, be mad, be angry, use up all the time you have on negativity, or you can get all the tools and resources that you need to be better when you get yourself up out of here. Because a lot of them are getting out. And ladies, let me tell you, that's where most of them are. They're in there.
She's telling the truth.
Let me tell you. And they got a better diet. They ain't drinking and smoking, not that I know of. They exercising. Most of them don't found Jesus.
Yeah.
or whomever. They coming out. They giving these guys out here on these streets a little run for their money.
Okay, now.
I'm just saying.
Come on now.
But my point being is, who are we? Even if we're not behind bars, you and I, we all need help. We all need something, some reform, some education, something to help ourselves be better every single day. So why not that be an opportunity or something for them also?
So I heard you say, and it goes right into my question. I said, listen to her. But I heard you say that you have forgiven, right? So where's your offender now?
My offender he is out. He is not in prison. And from what I know, I'm sure he's in another relationship, I believe to be true. And I don't follow him. I don't know what's going on in his life. All I can say is that I'm hoping and praying that he is well and God's will be done in his life. And that he gets the help that he needs or whatever to be a better person.
And what did you find out? Because we talked about how most of the offenders have had different things that happen with them. And then we also talked about the mental illness as well as too. What did you find out about your offender?
Well, it was very important. And I'm glad you asked that question too, because prior to him going off to prison, they did do an evaluation on him and mental illness was big. Bipolar, depression of 10 people depressed combined.
Wow.
Narcissistic behaviors, obsessive compulsive behaviors, just pretty much a ticking time bomb.
Wow.
And that he did need to be on medication for the rest of his natural life. And that's okay, people.
That's right.
It's okay.
That's right.
The problem is when you know all these things and you don't get the help. That's when my problem lies with anyone. So, that's with anything. We can go to the doctor and they say we have an illness and these are the things that you need to maybe get better, help, whether you're going to take the medication or you're going to go the holistic route, whatever. But you do know there's a problem, right? Now it's up to you on whether or not you want to fix it. And if you don't want to fix it, then shame on you, not shame on anybody else.
That's right.
So I've always wanted him to be better, not like, and I say this for everybody, mainly for himself. And then also because we have children together. And I want the best for him and whatever relationship he has with our children. But once again, if you don't want it for yourself, there's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
But just know that I wish you well, as I wish anybody well. He is still my brother.
Right. Wow. So I have a question because you just said something very important. You were in the relationship, but you also have children, and the children, of course, I'm sure were affected if they saw what was going on. So can you speak on that part? The child that is in between and maybe how it affects them and the relationship when it comes to both sides. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent question. As far as my children, of course it affects your children. I thought by me leaving when they were 5, 3, and 9 months, I wish I would have left sooner. I didn't, but it doesn't matter whether at any point that you leave, it's still going to leave some effects.
Right.
You'll be crazy to think that it doesn't. And you can try to get them all the help that they need or thinking that you're doing the very best that you can at that time. I know for me, I did the best with what I knew at that time.
Right. Right.
And you can do the best that you feel you have for them all of their life.
Right.
And let's be honest, their reality and their perception is theirs.
Right.
And I respect that.
Right. That's good.
And as an adult looking back and even us having conversations now, where in my eyes, I may have felt that I was the very best that I was.
Right.
With what I knew
Right.
at the time and what I did and how I raised them. They can come in and later on and tell you, no, you are not.
Right. Right.
And I got to respect that.
Right.
Because they're entitled to that. And so they share that, you know, you may have not been the best. You could have did this different. You could have done these things different. And once again, I get it. I get it. And I try, and I see both sides.
Right.
I do. Because they had a relationship with their father, and that was part of the manipulation, especially with him. I always say he never abused them. He never put his hands on them. And I used to say he was such a great father, when in essence he was a horrible father, because he allowed our children to witness him being abusive to their mother.
Right.
But now looking back at it, when they had such a great relationship with him, they looked at me as taking them away from their great dad.
Wow. Wow.
And so even with my oldest son, you know, he, even at 3, you know, he had resentment, you know, and they acted out and they did those things because they missed their dad.
Right. Right.
And so you got to look at it. If you're having a loving parent that's loving to you, he might not be loving to me, mom, but he's loving to them.
Right.
They're like, what are you doing? But they're not understanding until later on in life the manipulation, because they didn't understand it then.
Right.
So you got to meet kids where they are.
Yes.
And I had to meet mine as adults where they were too. And I'm not making excuses or anything for anybody, because right is right and wrong is wrong. You're entitled to feel how you feel.
Right.
All I say is I ask that we don't hold each other's feet to the fire.
That's good.
Because I understand, but you also have to understand the whole situation in totality, and how everybody played a part in this. And it wasn't just me, but I did the best that I felt that I could do at that time. And it's very true, when you know better, you do better.
Yes.
And I know I overcompensated. I know I may have done things that I may not normally would have done or should do when it comes later on in life, you know, and then maybe I didn't do the very best with one versus the others or whatever. You know, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. But I'm here for it.
I love
as hard as it is to hear, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And I understand. And it's tough. But I tell you what, I'm glad I left.
Amen.
And I say to those that are in relationships that feel they should stay because of their children, you will hear later on down the road, your kids will tell you, no, you should have left. Because so many have stayed and they are dead now. They felt they were staying for the right reasons, or they stayed and their kids turn out to be just like the people that they tried so hard not to be like.
Right.
And it's a vicious cycle. But I do believe that whatever you do, if you get out of it safely, that you do get the help that your children and yourself need. But I can also still say that you can get all the help that you feel you need to, and it still not be enough.
Right. Thank you for saying that, because you probably just healed and mended relationships with that, and also helped to restore the ones that have gone through and have dealt with the conviction and the condemnation of, you know, what they feel like they've taken their children through. So thank you for sharing that.
No, I take ownership for it. You know, I'll be honest. I've heard, you know, you weren't the best.
Wow.
I hear it.
Wow.
You were not the best. And as hard as that is to hear, I got to respect that.
Wow. But you may have not been the best then, but you're at your best now.
Yeah.
You can be even more for them now.
Right.
What a blessing.
But even still, you know what? You can still do all of the things and still not be enough.
That's right. Yeah.
And I got to tell that to those parents too, that are still doing everything that they feel that they can, still making up, doing, and trying to overcompensate, or trying to fix or whatever, and it still not be enough.
Right.
Sometimes it just will never be enough.
Right.
And you have to get to the point where you say, hey,
That's
you know
right.
what? I got to cut this thing off, because no matter what I do, no matter what I say, no matter how I show up, it won't be enough. And that's okay too. But now you got to deal with that, not me, because you will not keep holding my feet to the fire.
Oh, yes.
So you know what you are exuding, or just exuded, for all of our listeners? The true essence of God giving you beauty for ashes.
Amen.
Because many of us may have an ash story. You know, don't look good, don't feel good, don't smell good, none of that. But God will turn it to beauty. And that's what we are witnessing, is that your ashes story has been turned to beauty. And so many other people can be helped and be brought out. And like you said, you do all that you can do. You do your best.
That's it.
And like you said, sometimes it's not enough. But if you know that you've done all that you can do and you stood in that place, then that person has to pick up, and then they have to get their beauty.
That's right.
You know, and it keeps going. So Tanisha, this has been amazing. But
this has been a treat.
Okay, special edition. Okay, talk to us about what you are doing now. The NOW now.
Where do I begin? I'm busy. I am, for the first time, because I've been doing this for 21 years. The book is 21 years old. It'll be 22 years this year. And ever since I got out of this situation, I've been helping people, even before the foundation. You know, you'll give what you don't have. You give to do, you resource. I was just, call me, whatever. If I didn't have it, I can find somebody. I don't gatekeep. The doors of floodgates are open for everybody. I want everybody to win. Everybody eats, everybody wins, everybody. And so I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I knew I wanted to continue to make this thing happen. But life's. I still had kids to raise. I have grandchildren now, you know, remarried and divorced again. And now, you know, unfortunately, and all of those things, but I'm glad, because I had to realize that God will take people, places, and things out of your life in order to get your attention, to take you where it is that you need to be. And I asked for this, what I'm doing now, years ago. I'm so thankful and grateful that God did not give it to me years ago, because God knows where I would be. I would not be in this place where I can now do the things that I asked to do years ago in the capacity that I am doing it now. And when He got my attention, and I threw them hands up, and I said, you got me. And the controlling Tanisha went out the door, the one who had to make sure everything was right, and the money had to be right, and my situation had to be right, and the date had to be right, and it had to be at this time, and I had to be wearing purple. When he said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, Miss Ma'am. We're not doing that. We're going to do it in my time, on my time, when I say so. And when I tell you, when God says so, and them doors flew open, all I have been doing is just walking. And I tell you, what they say, with no purse, with nothing in the purse.
That's it.
There were times when I had more than enough to do financially, what I thought I should be doing, but I wasn't doing it. He stripped it all down to when I was in the negative. And I have not experienced anything like I'm experiencing right now, when God put His hands all over what it is that I'm doing.
That's deep.
So what I say to people is, and I've said it recently, just do it. Just start where you are. There's God's perfect timing, not your perfect timing. Just get going, and He will work the rest out for you. And that's what's been happening. So with the show, it'll be launching in May.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. What took what the producer said should have taken months to do, we've done in what, less than a week's time.
Wow.
It was 2 days actually.
Wow.
2 days. 2 days. And it's nobody but God. Just the tour, the responses, the effects of what it is I'm doing, just getting back out there and saying I'm really ready now, has been, I'm not going to say overwhelming, because I'm not overwhelmed by no means. I'm just at a peace, and I'm just walking in it. And that's when you know it's nobody but God. I'm not anxious for anything.
That's all right.
I'm not questioning anything. I'm just doing.
Come on.
And I say this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. Whatever you ask God for, He heard you the first time.
You preaching now. Come on here.
I do not ask for anything that I don't want, but one time now. And the biggest lesson in that is that He's going to give it to you when He's ready for you to have it.
That's good.
And the perfect analogy I like to use, my son, he loves cars. That's like me being a mother, right? And him asking me for a car at 7. Now, any good parent knows you're not giving your kid a car at 7.
Right. No.
This kid, he didn't need it at 15. He didn't need it at 16. He didn't need it at 18. He didn't need it at 21. Ultimately, he gets a car, right? I heard him the first time. Now, we as parents know we'll get him a car. I'll get him a car when he's ready. And not a moment sooner. Because any good parent wouldn't give it to him at 7.
Come on, that's good. That's good.
A good parent is going even at 21 or 25, when you think he may be ready, he still ain't ready, because he done tore that car up.
Come on, tell the truth.
But my point is, you thought you gave it to him when you thought, well, when you felt that he was ready. And it's the same thing with God. I'm so glad He did not give me all of this until He knew He can trust me and that I was ready. And that's why His timing is so much better than our timing. Because had He given it to me 20 years ago, I wasn't ready. And now that He can give it to me, so He gets all the glory.
Amen.
And I know that it only came from Him. It's just so much power in the wait. It's so much because there's no give up in me. There's no give up. And I said, I know if I ask for this, and I know it's coming, and I know it's here, and He's brought me this far, there is no way that He's not going to give it to me. I know that. So I live in expectancy. I live in the knowing that it's here, and I just got to keep walking and keep trusting. And that is the ultimate test, the trust and the faith that God puts you through. He just wants to see, really, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? How bad are you really going to trust me, and knowing that it's coming from me? Because like I said, I've met many people who could have written me a check, who could have just said my name, who has had my book, who said they would do X, Y, Z, and none of it has come to pass. None of it. But I'm so glad, because now I can say it all came through God.
Come on.
And I don't want anything that He does not have for me.
That's right.
I don't want anything coming from someone else.
That's right.
I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, well, she couldn't have did it without this.
Come on now.
She couldn't have did it without me. God was like, no. I want you to always say it came from me. And anyone that may have been in my path or who has helped me were just vessels of me.
Come on, you preach.
And that is what the beauty of this is about. And when I know that His hands is in it, I'm protected beyond measure. That's what it means by what is going to be is going to be. And I'm so accepting of it. I don't walk in fear. I walk in knowing that I am protected. I just keep going and just doing what God asked me to do. And it's true, the obedience of it too. You'll know. You just got to keep doing what He's asking you to do. And He has been showing up and showing out like none other. I don't go without eating.
Come on
I
now.
don't go without shelter. I don't go without laughter. I don't
Come
go
on.
without knowing that all of my needs and my wants are met.
Come on.
He's been just showing up and doing those things for me.
What's your scripture, T? Because you tell me all the time.
Jeremiah 29:11.
She said it quick.
29:11. That's it. I've gone before you. In fact, the knowing that he has gone before me is amazing. That's what really gives a peace for me. When I stop and put it all in perspective, and they say, it's been said, if you were developed and you know that he has had you in mind before you came into this world, and he knows every hair in your head and all of the things, you know what I'm talking about. And if he has gone before you, how can you question what's going on in the path and the journey that you're going on? I don't question that journey because I know I had to go down these roads to get to where I'm going. And yeah, we all have free will, but he knew what I was going to do. He knew what I was going to do before I did it. So if he knows you, he knows you're going to do what you're going to do. You know, I just like, okay, you know me.
Right.
So my love, I mean, I've always had a love for God, but I tell you, I've never been more in love with God.
That's a difference.
It's a huge difference.
That's a
difference. And I've never been more in love with myself.
That's beautiful.
Right now. In this wilderness, I had to go through this wilderness the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. It'll be almost 2 years now. I had to go through my wilderness. I went through my ups, my downs, all of the things. And I needed that. And I'm so thankful for that. Because the biggest thing that I learned is I will never, ever put another human before myself ever again.
Come on.
God has always been first, and he will continue to be first in my life.
Come on.
And that's it. I will continue to give and do and be T. But there's a way that I give and do and treat people and do things that I do for people. The wisdom is there now.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
It is.
That's powerful.
The wisdom is there now. And when you have all of that, you're unstoppable.
Well, Tanisha, you have brushed over.
Oh, what did I brush over? I'm sorry.
This show.
So this show, yeah, the Tanisha Michele show. That's what you want to know.
Yes, and how people can lock in. So
you can only download the app of the HHN TV. That is the only way that you can see it. Promo code is TM Love. That's T for Tanisha, M for Michelle, Love, LOVE. First month is free. After that, $6.99 a month. It is worth it. It's going to be worth it. You can only see the show there. I'm so excited. I will be letting people know the date specifically as soon as I get it. But for now, we do know for sure it is in the month of May. So you can still go ahead and subscribe now.
That's
the
right.
first month is free. It's not going to charge you. But it's coming. And not only the show, I mean, Jay, we got some other surprising things, but I'm doing that with someone else. So I'm not going to make that announcement.
No.
But as far as what I'm doing for myself, the documentary is coming. The movie is coming. I can go ahead and put it out there because God said it's okay for you to put it out there because He's done all of the other things already. So these things are happening. The facilities will be up and running. I will have them all over the world like I want them. Helping women, men, children, cats, dogs, fish.
She said the fish.
Even the
love
fish.
this woman.
Even the fish.
She got love for everybody.
We got love for everybody.
Why?
Yeah.
Internationally.
It's coming.
So
it's here.
If you can reach out from all over.
Yeah.
Like I told you, we have listeners all across, we say the pond, but the ocean. This is beautiful. And just the fact that you took the time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We are so grateful.
We are grateful.
Oh, geez.
I'm serious. We are grateful. And so many people have been blessed because you showed up today.
Blessed,
and we did
healed,
all of that.
Set free, delivered,
all of that.
Burdens lifted, encouraged. You did so much ministry here today.
Yes.
Just in these minutes that you've given. We are so grateful. And there is somebody else, I'm sure, that is out there on the other side. Like I said, that that you have reached, you have touched in a kind of way that they may have been yearning for a long time. Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. And that's what the show is about. I tell people I want them to understand that I'm talking to the you and me's.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me interviewing celebrities or any other well-known names or anything. I want our everyday you and me's to share our stories, because we all have a story to tell, to share. And that's what I'm finding, is that the more and more of us that are sharing and opening up and sharing our experiences, that's helping the next person more so than anybody else. And so that's what's going to make this thing different. That's what's making it different.
Right.
And it's working.
Amen.
It's saving and changing and healing people's lives.
Amen.
It really is.
I'm a witness, y'all. It is definitely healing and changing people's lives. And y'all know I'll say it every time we get on this podcast. I say I get something every time, but I'm telling you, every time I show up with her and we're going places and we're doing things, God is ministering to me as well. And it's like every time it's something new. And so I thank you so much. I thank you so much for committing your life and stepping out and doing this and walking in ministry. And look, as your manager, I'm about to tell y'all, the Tanisha Michele Show is accepting advertisers. Okay. So you can reach out to Tanisha at TanishaMichele with 1L.com. I will get it and we will go from there. And there she is also available for booking as well. So you can reach out the same way. I'll get it. You'll hear from me. You might see Azalea E. Great as well coming through, but she is ready. And y'all heard her. She is on go, y'all. She is on go. She is ready to come right to where you are and minister to you guys and share her story, train, do whatever God has called her to do. And that's what it is.
Y'all better get on board. Y'all better get on board, catch this train, get this treat. You better go ahead, get this treat. I'm telling you, you hear everything that's been spoken on today. And I'm just here to co-sign. I'm just here to co-sign. I am glad to be amongst the number, but I got to see it in real life, like right in front of my face, and to listen to the story and to hear the wisdom and to hear the pouring out and to be a part of the ministry. And it's a beautiful thing. You have so much to give to the nation, so much to give to the world. And I pray as you continue to do what you do, that God continues to strengthen you, and that he keeps you encouraged, and that he keeps your schedule so packed and so jam booked to the point to where people are like, dang, she ain't even got space on next year's calendar. Y'all better catch her quick. Y'all better catch up with her very quickly. Seriously. It is worth you. It is worth you putting the time and the effort into trying to book this young lady for the ministry and the expertise and the wisdom that she has. What a blessing you have been to us today.
Thank you.
Yes, you have. So Tina, if it's okay with you, can she close us out?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Please.
So close us out. Whatever you want to say to our listeners, however you want to close it, I want your voice to be the last voice that they hear.
This has truly been a blessing for me to be here today. And I can't thank you two enough for all that you do, for paving the way, for showing me how it's done and how it needs to be done, especially from a podcast standpoint. I love it. You two are amazing. But I want everybody that's listening that can hear my voice to know that I love you. If you have not heard it, you are loved, even though I don't know you. We are all in this thing together. It is not your fault. Whatever you're going through right now, if it's hurting you and it's not helping you, get the help that you need to make it stop. You are believed. It is not your fault. You didn't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Whatever it is that you're going through right now, there are resources out there for you. Keep asking for the help, even when you're told no. Keep going until you hear yes. Forgive yourself, no matter what it is that you're going through, No matter what you're telling yourself as to why it's happening, what's happening, just know that if it's not right, it doesn't feel right, it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's okay to get the help that you need. In order to see different, to do different, we got to do different. We got to stop. We got to be the change we want to see, not only for ourselves, for our children, for our communities, for our families. We have less years ahead than behind. Every minute is precious. Every day is precious. And I just said this yesterday. No matter who you believe in, but you all know that I truly believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I will say this, I think it's the ultimate slap or disrespect to God if you have woken up today or any day that you wake up that you do not choose to be better, to make your life better, to make someone else's life better, to be thankful and grateful, no matter how dim or grim it may seem. Just know that we are still in a better place. And there's always some that is much bad off or, going through more than you could be at this particular time. But just know that you're loved and that no one deserves to be abused in any way. None of it is acceptable. None of it. Absolutely none of it. And it needs to stop. And I'm here for you. My team is here for you. There are other people for you that's here for you. Even if it doesn't come from us, there's someone that can help you. So please reach out. Jay knows I will answer every email if I possibly could. I can't, or I will never get any sleep. But we're here for you. And we just want the best for everybody. And I mean that from the very bottom of my heart. I would not be saying it and doing this if I didn't mean it and feel it. So once again, let's get the help that we need. Let's get better. Love y'all. Bye.